Hey everybody, I got some pretty exciting news. I'm definitely very hyped about this. Uh, if you may or may not know, the cast, and this is going to be something the world government is probably going to want to have under wraps, but the cast of the Straw Hats has been announced. Now, I am very hyped for this. I watched the video of their announcements. I think it was on Twitter, uh, and I was actually had a different plan in mind for a different video. I was going to talk about the last three chapters, 1090, yeah, wait a minute, 1029, 1030, and 1031, or yeah. I was going to talk about those, but then I saw a video from Roger's base. You may or may not know him. Um, so I saw the whole cast, the cast for the Straw Hat Pirates has been announced for the One Piece live action series, and I'm actually quite satisfied with this. With all five. Uh, to start off with, uh, we've got just Luffy, Zoro, Nami, Usopp, and Sanji. We don't have anyone else confirmed. Just the core cast. We don't have any of the villains, and I suspect the villains will probably come in a couple months or so. But there's really for the East Blue Saga, there's only one villain I really care about, and that's Arlong. So I really hope they get Arlong right. I don't really care about Don Krieg, and some people like Buggy, and Buggy's okay, but I hope they announce the cast for Shanks and Roger soon. Hopefully they're announced. Hopefully in the next couple months. Anyways, for Luffy, and by the way, I'm just gonna. I don't know if I said this before, but I'm gonna just say it anyways again. But I love all these guys that they got. Now for Luffy, they got Inaki Godoy. He's definitely got the energy Luffy would have. It's really, definitely has that Luffy energy. And I can definitely tell Oda has been involved. And if anyone's really wondering about this cast and they're not convinced about this cast, keep in mind Oda is the executive producer and he's overseeing everything that's happening in the series. Pretty much, I believe. He's overseeing the scripts, and I'm pretty sure he's overseeing all the cast. I know he was at least overseeing, if he's not overseeing every single cast member, he's at least paying mind to the important ones, like the Straw Hat Pirates and probably some of the villains and other key characters that might come across. So Inaki Godoy is Luffy, and like I said, I think he's just perfect. I haven't really seen him in anything. I don't know anything about this cast, which is another good thing. I'm so glad I do not know any of this. I thought I knew one of the actors on this list, but I guess I don't. Anyways, then for Zoro, we got someone named McKenyu, and I saw a clip of him doing some sword fighting, and he knows how to knows how to do some sword fighting skills. And my cat might jump up here, by the way. So, McKinney, perfect as Zoro. I can't wait to see how he's gonna look once the series actually starts coming around. And Nami, just so you guys know, I love Nami. She's often like probably like my favorite Straw Hat. I really like her and Luffy and Zoro. So yeah, I have Nami on such high esteem. I really love her. I yeah, just and anyways, we got Emily Rudd as Nami. So and I saw some people making comments for like another thing that I saw, but they are commenting about Nami not having the assets that she's supposed to have. And first of all, I'm going to say two things. One, uh, don't be perverted, uh, please. And two, uh, Nami was pretty I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but she was not so out there with her appearance like she has been lately in the manga and the anime. Now, granted, all throughout the series she looks amazing, uh, but she was more, I guess maybe humble. I guess is a word I could use, but it's not really the word I'm looking for. So, but I'm gonna go with that for now. But anyways, this is Nami right now, as she was in East Blue Saga, and Emily Rudd is almost if you brought Nami into the real world, I think that person would be Emily Rudd. I'm quite convinced of that, and I really like the personality. There was a 42-second clip on Twitter, I think, and it showed the personality of all these actors, and I just adore Emily Rudd. It was just a few seconds, but she got me that fast. And they often say first impressions are very important, and that is actually very true on multiple levels because there have been many times where people had impressions of me that weren't not so great, and they never wanted to do anything with me, and the same goes both ways. I had impressions of other things. I didn't want to have anything to do with them. Like some elements of my job, for example. I won't get into that because I'm not leaving. I'm not. This is not a video about my job, and I don't want that to be out there. Plus, it's not a very fun topic, anyways. It's not exciting. Anyways, for Usopp, we got this one guy. He definitely has probably the energy that Usopp would have. Is Jacob Romero Gibson. I think you'll nail it as Usopp. He seems perfect for the role. Um, and Sanji is my one I saw most surprised about because when I first saw the picture or saw him talk in the video, I wasn't really sure, but then seeing the video multiple times and seeing some images online and listening to Roger's bass talk about uh, this actor, I think this is a perfect choice for Sanji. You can't really get much better than this. At least I can't think of anything. I'm not going to try to because one thing I like about this cast is that they have done things. They do have um they definitely have a cast list of stuff they've been in, but none of them are really well known. At least not to me. I don't know any of these guys. But anyways, to get to the point for Sanji, we have Taz Skylar. And so knowing what I know about all these characters in the current arc that the manga and anime is in, I think they nailed it with all these characters. Now the thing that I was also surprised about, I went on to Emily Rudd's IMDb because I was trying to find information that she was in, and since these are so unknown actors, they don't really have very good many pages anywhere except for like a few places such as IMDb, which I try to avoid that place because I'm not really a fan of it. Anyways, I was surprised to learn that they have all the episode listings for the live action series, except one. There's one title that is TBA. Now, I'm not sure why this specific title is unknown. But first of all, I'm just going to get. But before I get into that, I will go into Past Me and Past Sean, where we talk about the whole thing about where we think the One Piece live action series could go if it's successful. Sean goes up to season 2. Which is fair enough, and he does briefly touch on like the whole thing about how many seasons this series will go. And I'm not gonna tell you much, but I'll just let Pashan say it. Let Past Me say my thing, and then when you come back to me right here at the present, I'll tell you about where things will go after season 2 because that's where Sean wanted to go. So I'll see you guys in a little bit. And I also talk about what I got wrong and what I got right, and I will talk about that episode title. So see you in a little bit. Hi, Senpai here. I'm here with another video. I am back with One Piece with my friend. You want to introduce yourself?
Sean Connaughton.
Okay, and well, I figured I'd do a little thing about something kind of unique for One Piece this time around. If you guys I'm sure if you guys are aware of me, you are also familiar with another YouTuber by name Roger's Base, and this is where I'm getting to this. Roger had a guest on for when he reacted to Chapter 1022, and the guest that he had was one of the writers for the One Piece live action series. So that got me thinking. I've actually been thinking about this for a while. I've been thinking about this for many months. I'm not sure when I first started thinking about this. But I wanted to get like a whole setup of how I think what the One Piece live action series would look like if it succeeds. So, if you guys are familiar with a guy named Matt Owens, he did. I think he did. Well, Sean, I guess I'll tell you this, and I'll tell them. Matt Owens is one of the writers for something about, I think, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I believe.
Yeah.
And he's a fan of One Piece. He has said that his favorite arc is Enies Lobby, so which is a good choice. I'm I'll be working on a list of what my favorite arc is, but for now, I just want to talk about what I think the whole series can go. I'm gonna go throughout the whole series, and you're gonna stick with me for how long for this?
I'm gonna give my speculation on the first 2 seasons that I think of what will happen.
Yeah, so I'll just do my thoughts on these on these first 2 seasons, and when I cut to season 3, it'll be my usual setup. So I guess we can get started.
And just before, I want to say, I'm going to do my very best to try to keep this conversation civil, because I know that my thoughts are greatly going to be different than his thoughts, and he might get angry when he hears what I'm thinking. So
I might strongly disagree with him. I will say that I might strongly disagree.
I'm going to do my best to stay civil during this.
Yeah, I mean, and one thing that I'm going to say right out the gate, even amongst the One Piece community, and this is just everywhere, there's toxicity everywhere. There's toxicity in my game from Final Fantasy 14. If you are aware of my channel, you'll know that. You'll be aware of that. And there's toxicity in the One Piece community because people are always saying, "Oh, like Sanji is stronger than Zoro," or vice versa, and it's just a never-ending cycle.
And me, I'm just completely new to the series, so I don't have a say one way or the other. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, anybody using a devil fruit power is stronger than everybody else, so.
Well, I mean, there is the one devil fruit in Dressrosa that I can see if it's used right, it'd be useful. But the jacket fruit from Dressrosa, I don't want to spoil anything. If you're here on this video, I'm gonna be talking about the whole series as a whole, and he's gonna go up to season 2, so there will be spoilers in this video. But like that jacket fruit though, I mean, I'd say that's pretty useless. There's a character, if I don't remember, if you remember him, he just turns into a jacket.
Yeah, they kind of disappeared. I don't even know what happened to them.
Yeah, he was just a one-off character. I don't think he'll ever appear again, honestly.
Last time I saw them, they lost their fight, and now this war's been going on, and I have no clue what's going on with them. I haven't seen them at all.
So the point is, on that aspect, is that some devil fruits are not that great, but a lot are.
Yeah. So, are you going to say your ideas for the first 2 seasons, or are you going to do that separately?
I'm gonna say my thoughts. Now, just to start off with my thoughts, okay, I have this, episode of East Blue. And this is basically what season 1 of the One Piece live action is going to cover. So my expectations could be kind of high for this. If that, which is an hour and a half long, can have as much as it does, and it flow smoothly, there's no excuse that a 10 episode series cannot do the same thing or better than that. I know you haven't seen it, so you can't really agree disagree, but I mean, maybe someday I'll have you watch it. Now just to start off with, we all know that the first season is going to cover the East Blue Saga. That is that's not even debatable at this point.
Yeah, it's not a surprise.
And so,
well, while he looks this up, I'm just going to add real quick. Now, I don't know exactly how right I'm going to be or how accurate details of this are going to be, but when I do my ideas for the first 2 seasons, I'm going to go into major details. And just to let your audience know, back when I saw Star Wars Episode 1, as soon as I saw it with my father, I told him, I said, Dad, in the next one, we're finally going to get to see Yoda use a lightsaber. Sure enough, Episode 2 came out, and we saw Yoda use a lightsaber. I turned to my dad and said again, I said, in the next one, we'll actually finally get to see the Emperor use his lightsaber. Sure enough, the third movie came out, and we got to see Palpatine use his lightsaber. So, I have a pretty good track record for calling things before I actually see them. So,
I'm usually pretty good. I did get. Let's just leave that down at this point.
all
right. I have a pretty good track record myself. I got a lot of things right. The only thing I was wrong with was the Star Wars sequels. I
don't think anybody guessed the Star Wars sequels.
So, but this is not a series about Star Wars. But the point is, since he brought it up, I got it wrong. He got it right. So,
yeah, I was calling she was a Palpatine since like Force Awakens. After I saw a couple, I saw every theory video, and I rewatched it a couple dozen times, and I was like, oh yeah, she's gonna be a Palpatine, no question.
Yeah, if you told me back in 2015 when the Force Awakens came out, I would have called him a liar. I would call him on BS.
He did call me a liar several times.
Actually, you know what? I probably did.
But moving on, One Piece.
Yeah, this is a video about One Piece, not Star Wars. So, but that's a little insight.
We could talk for hours about Star Wars. We've done it.
Yeah, but this could be a long video about One Piece because I could talk hours about One Piece. But anyways, okay, here's how I think. Okay, I'm gonna tell you my thoughts about season 1, and he's gonna say his thoughts about season 1. Then I'm gonna go to season 2, and he's gonna go to season 2.
Just say 1 and 2, and then I'll do my 1 and 2.
Okay,
that way I can keep focus on what I'm saying.
Okay, I will do 1 and 2, and you'll do 1 too. So okay, so just bear with me. This is just my thoughts, and then when we get back to in my usual setting, I will go with season 3, and I'll go onwards after that.
But while you start, I'm going to step away for a minute.
Okay. Now, season 1, episode 1, we get introduced to Luffy, of course, and I think we'll get much of what we got at the beginning of the manga. Not to the same extent, though, of course, because this is going to be 10 episodes, and I think these will be 40 minutes to an hour long. I think. So, we'll probably get the first 5-10 minutes showing Luffy as a kid, and he meets Shanks, and Shanks inspires him to be a great pirate, and then it ends with him getting his straw hat. And then they make that little promise that when Luffy becomes a great pirate, Luffy will return that hat to Shanks. Now, will he actually do that or not? That's another question. But anyways, so then we'll get a time jump. We'll see Luffy meet. I'm not gonna go in as detailed because I'm not gonna. That's not what I'm gonna do with this. Sean's probably gonna go in more detail than me. I'm just gonna tell you my basic thoughts about what I think each episode's gonna look like. So season 1, episode 1, we'll get introduced to Kobe, and we'll see a little bit of Alvida. In fact, I think Alvida will probably be a huge highlight of the episode, and so because that'll be Luffy's first fight. And it was his first fight in the series. And I hope they don't derail from that. But so then we could get to like the end of episode 1. We cut to we'll see probably Zoro, who is imprisoned, and then episode 2 will be like pretty much almost entirely on Zoro, and we'll see him dealing with like his promise maybe with Helmeppo. I'm not sure if that will actually be included or if that'll be cut. And then we'll probably, honestly, I'm not even sure if we'll actually, it would probably be best if Helmeppo was included because he does play an important part later on in the story. So, and anyways, so then episode 2 will end much like how episode 1 ended. We'll get introduced to Nami. And then so episode 3 will be dealing with mostly about Buggy and Nami will reveal some of her stuff. Probably, I'm not sure if we'll get as much stuff as with the dog. I hope we do because that is some of the stuff that that won Nami over to Luffy. And I'm not sure how that whole dynamic is going to be in the live action series. Then episode 4, we'll get introduced to Usopp. And, I know like a lot of people were saying that the whole thing with Usopp was a lot longer than it should have been. But here in this live action series, I only see it being one whole episode, and we'll get the whole thing with Kuro and Kaya and Django. I believe that's probably asking for much, but if that TV special could do it, this could do it too. So I'm not pulling any punches yet, anyways. So episodes 5 and 6 will deal with Baratie. This is the first two-parter of this whole series. I think the first part will deal with will be introduced to Sanji, and we'll see where Zoro's ambitions truly lie. I mean, Zoro will probably have mentioned that in episode 2, but this is where it's going to come to fruition, where Mihawk will be shown, and I do expect Mihawk to be shown. Honestly, I really do. I don't expect it to be very long though. Maybe just a few minutes, but we'll see. Then part 2 of Baratie will deal with like the whole aftermath after Zoro has been defeated by Mihawk, and it will deal with the whole thing about I forgot their names. Let's see here. It's a good thing I got notes. Oh, the Krieg Pirates. The part 2 will deal with the Krieg Pirates. And then we'll see like a bit of Sanji's past about how food is so important to him. At least that better be included because that is a very essential part to Sanji's character. And with this being a two-parter episode, I think Netflix could pull it off. I think they could do something. Then we'll get to Arlong Park, which is we're getting to the finale of season 1. Arlong Park is going to be episodes 7 and 8, and a little bit of 9. I'll get into that about 9 when I say that. Episode 7 will deal with the whole thing about Nami being kind of treacherous to the crew, which, I mean, yeah, it'll probably raise some eyes, and I think that could be pretty good. And probably end with her killing Usopp if they include all those narrative points. And I say killing in quotes. And so the episode, part 2, episode 8, will deal with the whole thing about Arlong going back on his word about the arrangement that they had. And so that will just be like the whole thing about part 2 will just be like the whole fight against Luffy and the other Straw Hats against Arlong and his crew. Then episode 9 will get into this is a little different. I mean this might be excluded, but I hope it's not. But anyways, episode 9, Luffy will get his first bounty of 30 million berries, and we'll also cut over to Buggy meeting Albedo, and they form their alliance. I'm not sure, like I think they could put that in one episode and warrant that, and or at least half the episode, and then the other half of the episode they'll go to Logtown, and the season finale will be them all being Logtown, and they'll meet Smoker and Tashigi, because Smoker was the biggest threat before they went into the Grand Line. Well, I guess technically Arlong was, but I mean Smoker was. When I first saw Smoker, I wasn't sure how the heck they were going to beat him. So I think that would be very important to have in season 1, to have somebody seem to be unbeatable for anyone who has not read the manga or watched the anime. So I think, yeah, Smoker should be in the finale and show just how dangerous things can be. And we'll end season 1 with them going off to the Grand Line. And that's my take on season 1. Let's see if it actually goes that route. Now, season 2. Now, my thoughts with season 2. I have one thing here that is not in the anime, but it is in the manga, and I feel it is important, but that's my opinion. First episode will kick off with season 2. They go through Reverse Mountain, and then they meet Crocus and Laboon, and we are introduced to Vivi, who is going under the alias Miss Wednesday, and Mr. 9. Was it Mr. Yeah, it was Mr. 9 that she was with. So then we'll have that whole thing. Then we'll go episode 2 or episode 12 of the whole series as a whole. We'll get to Whiskey Peak, where Vivi's identity will be revealed to be a princess of Alabasta. And then they work out, and then she works out a deal with the Straw Hats to get back home and help her kingdom from Crocodile, which I fully expect Crocodile to be mentioned at this point. Then episode 3, we get into the whole thing about Kobe Meppo, where Kobe and Helmeppo are training under Garp to become great Marines. And I think this is important and it's essential because I believe Kobe will be the Luffy's biggest obstacle because I mean, even though they are friends, at the end of the day, Kobe is a Marine and Luffy is a pirate. So I'm not sure how that's gonna go uh, too much at the end of the series, but we'll get to that point when we get to it, and I'll actually keep going, and I'll probably explain my thoughts further on about what I think could happen. Then after that whole episode, that trails off to Kobe and Helmeppo with Garp. We get we see the crew go over to Little Garden, and I've never said this in my any video for that I have up, but I think it was stupid of the 4 Kids dub to cut out Little Garden because that is an essential arc. Because in that arc we learn about the giants. We get more insight into what Usopp is going to inspire to be, and we also get a little bit of the rivalry between Zoro and Sanji. So that is a very important episode, and I mean, if the live action series decides not to include it, similar to 4 Kids, they should at least mention something. But there's also another important thing is Nami gets sick. That is a subplot. I mean, no, could Nami sick be? I think Nami should still get sick at Little Garden because I just don't think it would work if she doesn't get sick. Because then we go into the next episode, Drum Island, where they meet Chopper. And it is because of meeting Chopper, well, Nami getting sick, that they meet Chopper and Nami gets cured. Then we get introduced to, or reintroduced in the following episode to Django. Honestly, you know what? I mean, this is one episode I think could be done without, but it is not included in the anime. So I included it here because the anime people have not seen that whole thing, and the only people that are privy to it are people who have read the manga. But basically, the whole thing with Django is it's a cover story, and it deals with Django escaping the Marines, and then he has a little one-off with Full Body, who was the Marine that Sanji was dealing with, and then Full Body and Django develop a strong bond of friendship. So, and that's important because at the end of that whole thing, Django gets pardoned and gets invited into the Marines, and we see Django in Alabasta. I mean, since that whole thing was cut, I mean, people who only watch the anime have no context of that whole thing about Django being accepted into the Marines and how that happened and how he got enrolled or enlisted under Hina. And so then we get to the finale of season 2, which will deal with the entire Alabasta arc. There'll be 4 parts that I feel Alabasta will be. Let's see here. Just for fun about what I think. each part could be for Alabasta. Yeah, I think part one they'll arrive at Alabasta and they'll go through the city and things will be fine. And they'll also be Luffy will be reintroduced to Ace, and that's also when the audience will be introduced to Ace for the first time. And then Ace will depart the crew probably soon after, helping Luffy and the others deal with the Marines that are trailing them. Then episode 2 we'll start to learn about Alabasta's past and about Vivi. We'll get to learn more details. Then parts 3 and 4, which is the final 2 episodes of season 2. I'm just assuming every season is going to have 10 episodes, by the way. Those 2 parts, the final 2 parts, will deal with their encounter with Crocodile. The first of those 2 parts will have Luffy be defeated, and then in the final part that he'll come back and deal with Crocodile and actually manage to defeat him this time. And we'll get the whole parting of Vivi not staying with crew, which is gonna be kind of sad and all that stuff. But I just hope, that's one thing I am kind of scared though about, is I hope they do well with Vivi for the live action series to draw people in, make people care, because people cared about Vivi for the live action for the manga and the anime. People loved Vivi, and they wanted Vivi to join. And she is considered to be a Straw Hat from the official data books, so that's not even a question. She's just not with the crew, and I think she's mostly considered to be an honorary member, but she is considered to be a Straw Hat. So that is my take on season 2. It'll end with them setting off to their next adventure, and Vivi saying her farewell, and hoping that if they meet again, they'll take her on board their crew. So now I will hand it off to Sean, and you'll say his thing for season 1, season 2, and then when he's done, you'll get me about season 3, all the way till, I think this is probably going to go all the way up till season 12, honestly. So, that's my thoughts. I wonder if you'll agree or disagree, and I'll get in touch with that after I'm done telling you about the rest of the series.
Well, before I really dive into it, I just want to say, don't get your hopes up. I was extremely excited when Netflix announced that they were doing a Dark Crystal prequel to set up for the movie. And the first season they had of that was just phenomenal. I loved it. I watched it probably like 2 or 3 times. And then it gets canceled after 1 season.
Oh yeah, I remember you were telling me how excited you were for that.
Yeah. And so even if season 1 does great, honestly, the biggest thing that I think is going to pull this down is Netflix they're doing so poorly, they're not going to have the budget to go beyond 1 season.
Well, I'm confident in this because, it's got 3 executive producers, one of them being Oda himself.
But, I mean, they're screwing up. Netflix is screwing up Cowboy Bebop. They're screwing up Avatar: The Last Airbender. So don't have high hopes, is what I'm telling you, for One Piece. But if they manage to get multiple seasons, I'll give you my ideas at least for the first 2 seasons. So season 1 will open up with Luffy on board Vita's ship, and we'll see him. Actually, no, sorry, I take that back. Season 1's going to open up with a sort of narration and sort of a flashback of Gold Roger being executed.
Oh yeah, that's I'm good. I'm thinking that's going to happen too. I think everyone's on page with that happening. I think that's going to happen too.
And then I think we're going to flash forward and it'll say like so many years later, you know, to where Luffy is hiding inside that barrel. We'll see him busting out of the barrel, thanking Alvida for the food. He's going to run towards his boat, but Nami's going to be in that boat. She was stealing all of Alvida's treasure. We'll see like she was cutting a hole or something in the side of the ship and taking the treasure and putting it in that little boat. And then Luffy will jump on board with her and she'll be like, hey, get your own boat. And yeah, he's going to use his devil fruit powers to probably super paddle them away from her boat. And they're going to head for the nearest shoreline. And I think as soon as they arrive at the shore, Nami's going to get thrown into the forest. They're going to crash land on a rock or something on the beach. And they'll immediately, Luffy will be immediately caught by the world government. He'll be taken to a jail, and they'll say they're going to execute him because he's a pirate, and there is enough, gold on that little boat to prove that he was a pirate, and they're going to be asking him, where's your ship? Stuff like that. And I think at this point we'll meet Zoro, and this episode will probably come to an end with Nami being found by Boogie and Luffy breaking out of his cell with Zoro. Then we'll move into episode 2, where Nami's going to say, oh, she's with this, pirate captain, and she'll basically send Boogie after Luffy, and Luffy will be trying to escape the world government, and it'll be like a 3-way battle of the world government, Boogie, and the newly formed Straw Hat Pirates, in which Luffy's going to tell Zoro, hey, if you want to survive, come with me. And Nami's going to get cornered by Alvida, who's going to be chasing her. And the 2 pirate ships, they're going to be teaming up against the world government. But Alvida leaves her ship just off to the shore. So Luffy, he's going to turn around and steal Alvida's ship. Only as we move into episode 2 and they arrive at Usopp's Island, I think the hole that Nami cut in the side of the ship, too much water will be splashing in and filling the bottom of the boat that the ship will actually sink. So they've got to jump to shore thanks to Luffy's powers, and they just barely managed to make it onto the shore. At this point, we'll probably get a whole scene about, or we'll probably get an entire thing about, Usopp and how he's telling stories to this rich girl. And I think they'll cut a lot of the pirates out. I think the main one will be the butler, and we'll get that whole thing with him. Only once he is found out and a few other random pirates show up to help him out, Usopp will be like, hey, if you help me save this girl, I'll join your crew. And Luffy will be like, well, why would I want you to join my crew? He's like, because you're going to need me. I don't think they'll make this version of Usopp to be as cowardly as the anime version. I think a lot of these character aspects will probably be changed because Netflix is very good at changing characters. I mean, and I don't mean that as they are good at doing it. They're just, they like to do it whether people want it or not. So I think Usopp's character, while he may not be the best, fighter going, I think he'll definitely be changed to be a lot less of a coward.
That might actually work out, honestly.
So I think he will join Luffy. They'll bring down those pirates. He'll save that girl. And she will send word to the world government to come and pick up these pirates that her village arrested. And before the world government gets there, she'll say, look, I have my own private ship, but I want to give it to you guys. So hurry up and get out of here before the world government shows up. And then we'll find out that Usopp is in love with this girl and he swears he's going to return to her one day once he, becomes this great marksman that he wants to be and learns about what happened to his father, which will be probably briefly mentioned early on in the episode. And that would be the end of episode 2. Moving into episode 3, I think, it'll start off with Luffy being really hungry and saying, look, we need a cook on this ship. None of us know how to cook. Everything we've tried to cook keeps turning out bad. And I think Zoro will say, well, I heard about this traveling ship that travels around and they have some of the greatest cooks. Maybe we can get one there. And I think they'll go to see Sanji. I mean, they won't know that Sanji's there, but they'll go there. And I think through that, they'll end up recruiting Sanji. I think about right as the time they arrive, they'll get attacked by a pirate ship that is a little bit more than these other crew members have been able to deal with in the past. And I think that it'll be a big battle again of the cooks versus the pirates. And thanks to Luffy and their crew helping out, Sanji will feel indebted to Luffy and say, look, thank you. These guys, they've been like family to me. And I think you guys really will need my help, so I'll join you. And I think from that, suddenly Nami is missing. Nobody knows where she went. Except maybe, I think they'll probably either have some random person that was there say, oh, she saw this and fled. She saw this and she went away. And then they'll show the picture to, Luffy. And I think it'll be a wanted poster for Arlong.
And I did forget that. But I did say that I wasn't going to go as much detail as he was going to. But I do think that some of that will be included too. And that would be like my episode, 5, I think, for me.
And I think at that point, the Straw Hats will be getting ready to leave. Only to find out that Nami is not the only Straw Hat missing from the group, that Usopp is missing too. Usopp didn't trust Nami, and since they haven't spent a lot of time, he doesn't really know that much about her, but he saw her sneaking off, and he decided to follow her. And so the Straw Hats, Sanji, Luffy, and Zoro, they get on board the Going Merry, and they go chasing after Nami and Usopp. Only realizing that they're actually after one group, but yeah, basically they'll be after those two. Then moving into episode 4, I think we'll get the whole thing with Nami arriving, the three other Straw Hats going through trouble. I think Usopp will be doing a lot of spying in the shadows, trying to find out, and we'll be seeing like this completely different side of Nami that makes her look like she never was part of the group, like she was just playing them. Um, I think that'll continue on for most of the episode, and then I think moving into episode 5, Luffy and the others, they'll show up, but they'll be on the wrong side of the island, and they've got to get to the other side. And by the end of episode 5, Usopp will be found out, and Arlong will tell her, hey, you got to kill him. If you want me to trust you, if you want me to believe your stories, you got to kill this dude that's been sneaking around looking for you. And I think that's where episode 5 will end, with her stabbing Usopp and him falling into the ocean, and Zoro, who by some miracle managed to, when the three of them split up to go find Nami, I think he is the only one that will actually have found her, and he'll actually see her stabbing him, and he'll go back and be in the next episode. That'll be important. But yeah, I think the last thing we'll see in episode 5 will be Usopp floating in the water, blood coming out. And I think that's where part 1 of season 1 will end, because Netflix has been doing this thing lately where they put out 5 episodes, wait several months, then put out 5 more.
Boy, if they do that, 5 and 5 thing, then if they go my route, the way I'm thinking, they will still be halfway through Baratier. They'll be just 1 or 2 episodes in, and they'll just be. Actually, you know what? That could be the way I have that envisioned is they would. Episode 5 would have ended with Zoro fighting Mihawk and get defeated, and then episode 6 deals with the aftermath of that and defeating the Creek Pirates. So I think that would probably be a good split off point for what you're talking about.
Yeah. Coming back with episode 6, I think we'll find out somehow, I forget how Usopp got rescued. You can remind me.
Well, Usopp never really, in the anime and the manga, he was never really actually stabbed. He realized that Nami just faked the whole thing, and Usopp just pretended that he was stabbed.
Okay, so yeah, we'll probably learn that. We'll probably see that. Like, maybe he had set something up in case she did stab him. Or she stabbed him in an area of the body where she knew it wouldn't kill him. And he manages to swim to safety. And
because in the manga and the anime, she stabbed her own hand.
I don't think she'd do that in this one. I think if anything, she'll be like, it'll be like Billy and Stu. Remember, stay to the right, don't go too deep. But yeah, I think he'll realize, okay, yeah, she stabbed me, but it's in a spot where it's not killing me, so I'm good. Just put a Band-Aid on it and I'll be fine.
Okay.
But I think then he'll report to Luffy, and Luffy will be actually considering leaving Nami behind and forgetting her, and because of everything Zoro has told him. And I think Usopp will come in and basically change Luffy's mind and make him want to go back and help her. Saying, no, she really didn't kill me. She could have, but she didn't. She only stabbed me here, so we need to go help her. And I think that's where that episode will finish off, with a fight between Luffy and Arlong. And the crew setting sail once again. At this point, I think we might get an episode that will have flashbacks of characters, maybe sharing stories with each other, gaining each other's trust. I think it'll be like an episode where it will divulge information, but it will also give the crew some bonding time. So, like, Luffy will say, look, if we're going to keep traveling together, then we need to know we have each other's back. So, I want you guys to sit down and I'm going to tell you why I want to be King of the Pirates. And then I think we'll get the Shanks flashback. I think we'll learn about Sanji's flashback. I think we'll learn more about Nami's past. Because I don't think they're going to do a lot of flashbacks through the episodes. I think they'll wait until maybe an episode where they can do something like this and say, okay, it's going to take them time to sail from point A to point B. So now let's use one of these episodes to show all of those flashbacks we've been avoiding.
That would actually, that could be like an interesting way. That might be somewhat be better than what I had in mind, because I left this, I omitted this out, but I expected flashbacks to be where they were, although in a condensed version.
Yeah. And I think we'll get Zoro's flashback of when he was a kid and that little girl died.
Queena.
I think we'll get maybe some kind of flashback for Usopp and why he, always makes up stories, and about he'll reveal information, the only information he knows about his father. And
so this is your episode 7, is all these flashbacks?
Yep.
Not bad.
Episode 8, I think, will be Logtown, which is, if I'm right, the last place before the Grand Line.
In the manga, yes, but the anime did include that little extra thing with the dragons and stuff.
I'm not including that.
But,
so,
yeah.
I think Logtown will be a 2-parter, in which case I think we will meet a few essential characters, and I think during this time, Luffy will want to see the place where Gold Roger died. Then Boogie, Alvida, they'll show up looking for the Straw Hats. Meanwhile, the world government, who has been on the tail of the stories that have been coming up, about these new pirates that seem to be a threat. I think the world government would have sent in, a fleet of their own to bring these new pirates because they seem pretty dangerous. And I think they're going to use this as a means to try to, this is where we'll get introduced to Smoker, like he said. I also think this will be a moment where when Zoro meets Tashigi, and he'll have like a moment where, no, you can't be alive. That's impossible.
I think that'll be there too.
And I think they'll have a sword battle. And I think that'll lead into something later. I still haven't seen it in the anime because I've only gotten up to Dressrosa, so I have no clue. But I think episode 8 will end with a big fight breaking out between the 3 groups, the Straw Hats, the world government, and Boogie and Alvida's alliance. I think most of the next episode, episode 9, will be that too. But I think, like in the anime, a mysterious force is going to come in and chokehold the world government, holding it back so Luffy and the crew have time to escape. Of course, they never actually see what stops the world government in its tracks from chasing them down. And I think they'll sail off. And I think Boogie and Alvida will be, sailing off, going their own way. And I think at this point, moving into the last episode, Nami will reveal that while they were busy causing trouble in Logtown, she was busy preparing for their trip through the Grand Line. And she'll reveal that she got information about what to expect in the next section. And the ship's first log pose, which is basically the compass they need to go from island to island. And I think the whole episode 10 will be them going through their troubles of getting into the Grand Line. And I think it will end once they make it to the other side and the ship is safe and they're good to go. And it'll be like, okay, so we're in the Grand Line. Let's get going. And that's where episode 10 will end. Moving into season 2, I think that they'll go immediately. They'll be arriving in Whiskey Island, right?
Whiskey Peak.
Whiskey Peak. I think that'll be one episode.
I think the whole thing is actually called Cactus Island.
Or Cactus Island. I think that'll be one episode. I think another episode, the second episode will be, or I think the second episode will begin with the end of Cactus Island, Nami getting sick, and Vivi telling them they have to go to this other island. And they'll set sail for it. And they'll just make it there by the end of the second episode. I think episode 3 will fully revolve around basically recruiting. Oh gosh, I haven't seen him in a while. He's
Chopper.
Yeah, Chopper. Episode 3 will basically revolve completely around Chopper, recruiting him and getting back on the open ocean. Episode 4, I think, will deal briefly with the two giants. I think they'll kind of flash over a lot of the big fights. And I think at this point, as they're leaving the island, Vivi will talk to Luffy and say, hey, look, I need your guys' help. I have to go home. I have to return home. And he'll say, where is your home? We'll take you there. And she'll basically reveal it's Alabasta. And so I think season 5, they'll be arriving in Alabasta.
Episode 5, you mean?
Yeah, that's what I said.
You said season 5.
Oh, sorry. Episode 5, they'll arrive in Alabasta. They'll head to her kingdom, only to learn that her father has been arrested by the world government, and that Crocodile has taken over, and she needs to stay out of sight because Crocodile knows that she lied and she's really the princess. And all the other people that work for him are now, who we've met a little bit here and there, they're looking for her now. Her cover was blown. And I think Luffy will be taking that time. And I think he'll be like, well, we're not going to, just go away. We need to set your people free. And I think that's where episode 5 will end. I think episode 6 will pick up with Luffy and the crew basically going straight to Crocodile head on with like a very small resistance force that has been built up. And they'll be like, we're here to bring you down. And I think 6, 7 will deal with all the rest of Alabasta. Most 6 will be a lot of, the war. 7 will wrap up the war and will end up, returning things to normal for that place. Once that is over, I think in episode 8, we will see the crew get ambushed and captured. And they will be taken to... I know you said this was only in the anime. What's that base where Sanji met that other cook?
Oh, well, that's like way down. That's supposed to be like after Skypiea. At least it wasn't the anime. But G8, I think you're talking
Okay.
about.
So I think that at this point, the ship will be captured. They'll be taken to G8 to await for more higher up world government people to come in and take them away. I think they'll escape by the skin of their teeth, but the ship at this point has taken a lot of damage from season 1 and now season 2. I think episode 9 they will go. Where did they go after G8?
Well, they went to Water 7, but before they were even G8, they were in Skypiea, and they were in
Yeah,
Skypiea
I think they're
after-
gonna cut out Skypiea.
That's gonna be very stupid of them because Skypiea. I don't want to get too much spoilers, but I think Skypiea is be very very important moving forward.
I think they'll find another way to shoehorn in whatever information. Actually going up into the sky and actually going through all that, I think they'll just cut that out. They don't need it.
Okay.
But I think that is one of the major things they will cut on. The only reason I'm saying they'll go to G8 is so that they can start to realize that the ship needs to be repaired.
But yeah, after G8, they went to Water 7. Actually, no, they went to Longland. Then they went to Water 7. Longland, they had the whole thing with the Davy back fight with the Foxy Pirates and all that stuff. And I mean, that part might be cut out, but that's where we are introduced to one of the admirals, and we're showing like Longland was where we get this full scope of the threat of the Marines, because up to that point we have never seen a Marine admiral before, and so this is where one's introduced.
So I think, okay, so after G8, then I guess my thoughts for episode 9 is that they'll be, they'll dock the ship as close to shore as possible, and Usopp and Sanji will be doing their very best to repair the ship. But Sanji's like, we're not professionals. And I know Usopp's been dealing with this ship longer than me, but I think we need to get some professional help. And we got a lot of treasure from that place, G8. Why don't we use that treasure we stole from them and go, get the ship worked on by some professionals. And I think they'll stop in this town. I think they'll learn about Water 7 not being far off. And I think that's when they will face off against the ice guy. Because that's the one you were talking about, right? The ice guy?
Yeah.
I don't remember his name.
Aokiji.
I think that episode 8, I said, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Episode 8 will end with the fight against Aokiji. And I think episode 9 will begin with them arriving at Water 7. And I think they might keep in the stuff about the money being stolen, just because that's going to ultimately end up bringing in Frankie.
That's how they get the new ship too in the end.
I think they're going to go face off against Frankie. And I think right halfway, or right when I think Usopp will face off against Frankie. And episode 9 will end with the Straw Hats finding Usopp badly beaten. I think they'll take him to get him, fixed up. Sanji, Luffy, and Usopp, or not Usopp, Sanji, Luffy, and Zoro will, at that point, go to face off against Frankie, defeat Frankie, take what is left of the money, and I think that because this should be episode 10 then. So,
yeah.
Episode 10, they'll face off against Frankie. They'll get some of their money back. Not all of it, but whatever Frankie had left. And I think they'll go give it to the ship people, the shipwrights, and I think the shipwrights will go to look at the Going Merry. They'll inform Luffy that, sorry, but your ship, it's done for. This is it. It can't keep going. You have to get a new ship. And I think that the entire crew will hear that. I don't think there will be a big fight between Luffy and Usopp. I think Usopp might take it very hard. But I think, while everybody is, mourning the loss of the ship, the newest crew member, who at this point would be Robin, I think Robin will be kidnapped at the final scene of this season. And I think that's how they would end season 2, with her being kidnapped and us not seeing who kidnaps her.
Oh, damn. Live action, people. If you're ever seeing that, if that season 2 becomes reality, ooh, brutal.
So that's what I theorize could happen in the first 2 seasons.
I got one question. I don't know if you missed this, but I feel like I got to bring this up. What about Laboon though?
I don't think they'll do that.
So how are they gonna work Broken when if they actually?
I mean, they'll work Broken just having him in. It's just they won't have that connection that he was friends with that whale. I don't think the animals in this world will be like the animals in the anime. I think the animals will be more realistic. The only talking animal we will get, the only animal with any characteristics we'll get, will be Chopper. I think every other animal, sharks, whales, I think they will be as realistic as real sharks and whales.
I'm tight-lipped for now.
So, I mean, they might still have, instead of, what was it, seagulls that delivered messages, or?
Yeah, they had those seagulls or some birds. They were delivering newspapers and stuff.
I think they would actually be like falcons, like actual falcons, like we use in real life.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if they'll keep.
Well, there's actually some lore about that whole thing that is actually built on like seafaring stuff.
Yeah, I get it, but I mean, do you hear a lot about people training seagulls, or do you hear about people training falcons?
More, not much so much with seagulls, no.
I mean, it's called falconry for a reason. But I think that they will stick to making it as realistic as possible. Yeah. I think they'll cut out a lot of the... I don't want to really call it nonsensical stuff, because there's some of it that I think only works in anime form. And, having creatures, like animals, that respond the way the animals do in the anime, I think is only something that can be... I don't think... It would look too ridiculous in live action. Snails, for communication, I think that would look ridiculous in live action.
But you know what? I mean, that whole thing with the animals, I mean, that's going to have, a whole thing... I know you won't get this far in your little discussion, but I just want to mention this right now. But the whole thing with animals should not be overlooked, I think, because there's like the mermaids. With the mermaid princess on Fishman Island, she's able to communicate and control the Sea Kings.
Yes, but I still feel that they would be treated more like, the way real animals would react. I mean, similar to how the fish and the octopus and the crabs all reacted in Aquaman with Jason Momoa.
Oh, okay.
They didn't make them cartoony. They didn't make them actual have real reactions. They still behaved like real fish, like real sea life. And I think that that's what they would do with this. So I think they will probably skip. That's why I said, if you didn't notice, at the end of season 1, she gets the log post there rather than at the lighthouse.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that because she didn't get log post until they were in the Grand Line at Reverse Mountain.
And that's why I think she would be off doing her own thing, buying stuff for the journey, getting ready for the Grand Line, and someone would talk her into buying the log post, telling her that she needs it if she's going to go into the Grand Line.
That's actually kind of ironic that you brought that up because that's what the 4 Kids did. They did something similar to that.
I'm just saying, they're going to try to cut as much time as humanly possible.
All right, well, that's interesting. I mean, I expected there to be some differences, but it was more in line with what I was thinking than I thought it would be. So I'm surprised it was that close. Of course, I don't think they will skip Skypiea. I think Skypiea will be an essential part in season 3.
I really don't see that because of the fact, I mean, what all did we really get out of Skypiea? Aside from them getting the money for the ships, which is why I said they would get it at G8, and G8 would have to be an episode.
Well, there.
Plus, not to mention, too, budgetary constraints.
This is... Okay, well, yeah, okay, well, all right. Well...
It's a lot easier to shoot something on the ocean than it is to shoot floating skies.
Well, I'll just... this is just... Well, as far as that stuff goes, they could just use, like, green screen, blue screen, all that stuff. I mean, like, look at Mandalorian with that tech that they had for there.
Yeah, but this is Netflix. And like I said, they're already doing pretty bad as is.
But anyways, they learned a little bit about Roger, that he was up there at Skypiea, and Robin learns a little bit about one of the ancient weapons up there that she brings up later, much later in the series when they go to Fishman Island. And there's a few things that are implied with Skypiea that are being brought up that might be very, very important going forward.
Okay, and I'm going to play devil's advocate here. If they include Skypiea, they're going to piss you off. Because what they'll probably do is they'll probably show them setting up into the sky to go to Skypiea, and the next episode they'll be coming crashing down. And then only in the future, when it's actually relevant, will we have necessary flashbacks of what they actually did that is relevant to them at that point of Skypiea. It'll be like the Quidditch World Cup.
Oh no. Oh no. Anyways,
if they could cut, if Warner Brothers can cut the Quidditch World Cup out of the Harry Potter movie, I'm pretty sure Netflix is probably going to cut Skypiea.
That would be really stupid, but I mean that's my thoughts going into season 3. He was going up to season 2, so I don't want to continue too much about my thoughts about this. So
see, because I'm looking at it as they may only get a possibility of 5 to 6 seasons if they go all the way.
5 to 6 seasons.
And they're going to have to cram as much as possible Especially since certain areas are going to be so freaking huge, it's like one season itself. I think now, like, when they get to Thriller Bark, I think Thriller Bark, Impel Down, or wait, what's the place in between? Where'd they go for the ship covering?
Salva Archipelago.
Okay, so I think like one season will be like Thriller Bark, Sada Obi, and then Impel Down. I think they may cut out a lot of, if not most of, the Mermaid Kingdom.
Oh, damn, that would really take off a lot of people.
I think they might insinuate they did it. They may show them going down and they may show them coming up. And I think the only time it'll be relevant is, like I said.
Well, I guess this is the abridged version of future seasons that he's thinking. Abridged version. We'll get into that in like probably another.
But
video.
I definitely think that like season 3 is going to end with Luffy going to Impel Down. And then I think like season 4 would be Impel Down complete. The rest of it, like all of it. And
probably all Marine Forward and all that stuff.
A lot of Marine Forward, a lot of and it will probably end up with
and after Marine Forward they were reunited.
Luffy going back to Marine Forward. And everybody getting their messages, and I think that's where season 4 would probably end. Season 5 will probably pick up with the crew reuniting in one episode. And moving on to a quick version of Punk Hazard, a 2-episode version of Dressrosa.
I think Dressrosa will last 6 episodes.
I don't think so, because
you might have a different opinion once you finish Dressrosa.
I think 1 episode he'll be doing the like the tournament. He'll enter the tournament. He'll start in the tournament, and as soon as Flamingo realizes Luffy's in the tournament in disguise, he'll interrupt the tournament, and there'll be a big old fight, and the whole city will break out into a fight, and meanwhile we'll have the rest of the crew who's sneaking around, and they'll start fighting all his lieutenants. I think, the fight will escalate into more and more, and I think Sabo will jump in and help Luffy out by eating Ace's fruit, and hopefully if you haven't gotten that far, I'm speaking gibberish to you, so you don't know what I mean, because I purposely left some of these details out when I, talked earlier, because I do think Ace will show up in, Alabasta, just to introduce him as, Luffy's brother. I definitely think he'll be in Marine Forward. I think that'll be like the mid-season, like what happens, I think will be the mid-season of that season. And you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So I think that would be the mid-season finale.
Okay.
And then we'll be dealing, for the rest of that season, we'll be dealing with setting everything up for the next season after. So
yeah, I think Marine Corps was season 4, and you're thinking like they'll be in Dressrosa in season 5. I think.
Yeah, and then I think season 5 will end with whatever the current arc is, probably setting up for the last season, season 6, to be the big showdown and finding the One Piece.
And that'll be actually in line if that really super abridged version happens. Okay, if they go like season 1 next year, 2022, and they do season 6 as he's saying, that'd be like 2027. The manga will be done by then. I have no doubt in my mind that the manga will be done. We will know what the One Piece is in the manga. So, I mean, that could theoretically work. We will have all the answers to everything, and the live action series will have all that to work with.
But I don't think there's any way in hell they're going to be super faithful to the anime. I don't think there's any way in hell that they're going to make it as cartoony as the anime.
Well, I
think they're going to try to change characters.
They're not gonna make. They're definitely not gonna make it like how like they exaggerate like how the anime is. They're definitely gonna make it more realistic. But I feel like based off of my knowledge, I think that they will include some of the things, and they will exclude like if you guys realize, I excluded the guy that was stuck in the treasure chest. I think that will be omitted. In fact, I think that was even implied that won't even be in the live action series at all. And honestly, we could do without that because we deal with that. We get that information at other points in the series, anyways. So
now, when Robin does join the crew, like, what would that be?
Well, for
the
you,
end of season 2.
For you, that'd be season 2, yes.
Yeah. So I think at some point we might get like a 5 or 10 minute, flashback of her.
For me, Robin will be joining the crew. The way I'm thinking, if it goes the way I'm thinking, it will be the very last episode of season 2 or the beginning of season 3.
I think Robin's flashback, though, I think it'll be on their way after they defeat Al-Hagi. I think, or not really defeat him, but escape him. After they escape him and they're on their way to Water 7, I think on the way there, that's when finally she'll reveal, since she'll now trust Luffy and the crew a lot more. I think that's... Wait, no, she doesn't. Maybe she does. I don't know. Could be then. Could be season 3. But like I said, season 2 definitely ends with Robin being kidnapped and us not knowing why. Just knowing that she has the highest bounty on the ship.
Yeah, at that point she did, up until Luffy's bounty was shown to be increased, and Luffy discovered that he had a higher bounty right when they were leaving to go to Skypiea, because Blackbeard was showing, hey, Straw Hat, I got your one poster here, and for Zoro. And that's where Zoro learns that he's got a bounty for the first time, right before they're going to Skypiea. And that's where Luffy learns that his bounty is 100 million.
I definitely think they're going to leave out a lot of the running jokes, like Sanji's face. And the one guy who wanted revenge on Sanji because of his face.
I think that could be... I think that could be included in a few minutes of an episode, but I mean, yeah, that could be skipped.
But yeah, I definitely think, and like I said, if season 3 begins, like I said, the last thing we'll see like cloaked figures standing behind Robin, coming up on her in an alley, and one of them grabbing her, face and pulling her into the shadows. And maybe like she drops her hat or something on that is recognizable as this belongs to her.
Well,
and then the next season will begin, like season 3 would pick up with one of the Straw Hats going down that same alley later on and finding what belongs to her.
It would make more
Meanwhile,
sense.
the other Straw Hats, they're knocking on the doors of the shipbuilders, and only the head of shipbuilder answers. He's like, I want to help you guys, but I don't know where everybody went. They just disappeared. And that's when Luffy's going to be like, yeah, we're looking for one of our people too, Nico Robin. And he's like, what? Nico Robin? She's with you? And he'd be like, yeah. They'll be like, oh, come here. I got something to show you. And that's when he'll show Nico Robin's poster. and Luffy will be upset because her bounty's higher than his. And I think that's how season 3 would actually begin. And they'll probably set off to go rescue her, realizing, well, if your crew knew that she had a high bounty and they saw her with us yesterday, maybe they are the ones who kidnapped her for the bounty.
Okay, so you're thinking season 6 series finale?
Yep, possibly even they might do a movie to do the finale right, if Netflix is smart.
Okay, well, I think this could. The way I have it all listed on my computer here with all my notes, I think it could go up to 12 seasons, but that would be like when I cut away. So, but I guess for now, I guess I'm gonna let him do his closeout, and once I'm done, I mean, honestly, at this point, this might be like a 2-parter video. I plan on getting all these out soon though, so I'll just let him do his closeout, and then I'll do mine.
If you are an avid reader and you like manga and you like storytelling and you're into fantasy, check out my book series, The Guardian of Light. It's available on Amazon. I have a YouTube channel. The link will probably be in the description below. I'll talk to you guys next time.
And I guess you guys will see me soon, or I'll just continue this in another video.